transparency. So let's say you have a really cool idea for a techie game and the GUI is supposed to be transparent, to really give it that hologram look. But now when you click the buttons, or when you try to click the buttons, you get this. Because basically these parts here are empty, so it can't really detect the mouse touching them. So how do you combat this and have the buttons act like this instead, regardless of wherever you put the mouse? Okay, so let's say we have our rectangle here, and we draw the rectangle. We want to make it transparent. Click no fill, and now there's nothing inside. But obviously you can't click and drag this anymore because basically there's nothing in there. You can only click on the outline. So one way you can fix this is to just set the fill to gradient, and then set both colors of the gradient to no fill. And just like that, you can click and drag your sprite around. And then also there's text. Sorry, actually nobody cares. And now if you set this to no fill and you increase the outline, with text, clicking the outline actually won't work either. As you can see, I'm trying to drag, nothing's happening. Okay, the only way you can select text that doesn't have a fill is if you drag over a wide area. Okay, and even then you can't click on it to move it. It's not going to work. You have to use the arrow keys. Okay, because basically the outline is non-existent. So we can use our same method again. Gradient, no fill for both sides, and now you can click it. Okay, and that works. All right, another thing you can do is convert it to bitmap. While this reduces the quality, it still makes it clickable. You can then convert back to vector. The only problem with this is that when you're converting to bitmap, it changes the hitbox of the shape to a square or a rectangle, basically, regardless of whatever the shape it is. So as you can see, if you have it in vector here, you try to click on this edge here, it's not going to work because there's nothing there. Only if you click exactly within the circle. But if I convert this to bitmap and convert back to vector, you can see now I can click in here. Okay, and that's kind of how it works. It just rounds up basically everywhere within that shape and makes it clickable. So obviously this is going to work if the sprite was transparent as well. Even if it doesn't have an outline, you can just have it there and it works. So now, up until this point, everything we've done only works in the editor. If you come in here and try to click, it actually still doesn't work. Sorry. So let's say we have a rectangle, a gradient, blah, blah. You click here, it works. Okay, you can see it's above the circle. Let me just put this so you can see. Try to click this now, it doesn't work. So that only works for when you're editing. In the game, like what I showed you earlier, it actually still doesn't work. So how do we fix that? Well, we're just gonna have to put some color in there, okay? But not too much. We can just set, instead of setting the opacity completely to 0, you can set it to 0.4 or something like that. Still very light, but at least now it's clickable here, and it's also clickable in here as well. Okay, so that's how you do that. You do the same for text and for if you're converting it to bitmap as well. Okay, just keep the color very minimal, and you want to set both sides too, because if you move too far to this other side, sometimes it won't work. Yeah, as you can see, if you come here, because that's where the color is, so you want to set both 0.4. Anything 0.2 and above will be converted to 0.4, and lower will usually be converted back to 0. I think this 0.4 is like the sweet spot. So now you can create games with transparent GUI that's not glitchy and it looks really smooth and really cool. So that's it for transparency.